Hello and welcome to Talk Time on Lugard TV. I am Deborah Bonica, and with me in the studio today is the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Honorable WEMI Jones. Thank you so much for being in the studio, sir.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. How would you say your ministry has performed in line with its mandate under the present administration, rather?
Thank you very much. I think our performance will be determined by the people of Kogi State that we serve. You know, generally speaking, we have tried as much as possible to work according to the mandate that we have been given by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo, because he has made it clear that education remains priority in Kogi State during his administration. So we are running to ensure that we do not allow for any gaffe to exist in the administration of education in Kogi State.
That's good. Where would you say Kogi State is exactly in terms of the implementation of free education? I've seen your campaigns on free educations and bursary and all of that. Where's the state at? Where's the state now on that?
Thank you. Our free education policy in Kogi State is targeted at pupils from primary 1 in primary school to SS3 in secondary schools. Now, the idea is to be able to support families by giving them enduring palliatives. We believe very strongly that it is right to offer palliatives of rice and grains and what have you. But the only palliative that we believe will outlive us as a government is the palliative we give in education. We are very much aware of the economic situation of the country, and the only way that we can support families is by offering free education. And ours is a bit different because our free education does not stop at just tuition alone, free tuition alone, because we go ahead to ensure that every internal and external examinations in the exit classes are paid for. So starting from the primary school system, the government pays for common entrance examination as well as Basic 6. Basic 6 is the first school leaving certificate exam. So the government pays for it for pupils in public schools.
Only,
Then at the junior secondary school level, we pay for the exam we call BASE, Basic Education Certificate Examination. That is our version of the junior WAEC. We pay for it for children in public schools. And at the exit class out of secondary school, the SS3, we pay for WAEC, we pay for JAMB, we pay for NAPTEP for those in technical colleges. We also pay for NECO. As a matter of fact, we have crafted a law called the Kogi State Free Examination Registration Law 2023, where all of these exams are captured. So it is not whether the governor likes or whether the commissioner likes.
It just happens.
It must happen.
I'm aware of the Safe School Initiative program. How is that progressing so far? Has there been any challenges as regards to that?
Well, we have been very fortunate. You know, we haven't had any mishap. You know, God has been with us. Of course, we also are not just resting on our oars. We are ensuring that schools in areas that appears to be vulnerable to attacks, we go the extra mile of providing extra security for them. Yes, we're also working in consonance with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. We are working with them very closely, and of course, at the local government level, the chairman of our local governments are also working with us. You know, for instance, when I get a report that maybe a principal calls and say they have some threat or what have you, we immediately get in touch with the local government chairman.
Okay.
You know, we are quite proactive. You know, we make sure we don't allow any mishap to occur before we react.
With the local government autonomy, how has the universal basic education, especially in the primary school level, been funded by the state government?
Well, you know, the UBEC in Abuja has been supporting the primary education system through the SUBEB, State Universal Basic Education Board. That has happened over a period of time. But the way it's done is that, you know, there is a counterpart funding that the states must provide. You know, I think it's 50% of whatever they are going to give, then every state is expected to account for whatever money they get. You know, and Kogi State, when your state fails to properly account, they will be denied further subvention.
Oh.
Yes, so that is not automatic. It's not that you just give money. You must account for whatever money you get. You know. So far, Kogi State has been absolutely perfect. The records are there. You can fact check me, you know. So we are doing very well. But the good news is that beyond SUBEB, the federal government has come up with NSEC, National Senior Secondary Education Commission, which is the version for the secondary school system. Because SUBEB and UBEC are for the primary school. So NSEC is for the secondary school. So, and for us as a state, we have also enacted a law for the SUBEB version of secondary school, which we call the Kogi State Senior Secondary Education Board. We have a law like that will work with the NSEC. NSEC is national. Kogi State Senior Education Board is state. You know, so and it's collaborative. The advantage, another advantage that now that NSEC has over SUBEB is that NSEC is not just intervention, it is also regulatory. It will be regulating the activity of secondary school education, just like NUC does for universities, and I think MBT does for polytechnics. So NSEC will be doing the same for secondary school. Yes, because it's not just enough for you to say, oh, I'm giving you money to build infrastructure and providing teachers without regulating what those teachers are doing.
Oh, yes, because I was going to come to that building of school, the infrastructural angle and aspect of it. I did do a little background check on some of the schools in Kogi, especially the ones that have been there way longer than. And I want to make reference to government science school. I was there.
The one in Zone 8?
The one in Zone 8, yes. I was there. I think I was a pupil of that school at some point.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I was there to see the principal, you know, and I wasn't quite satisfied with the state of the school. So I said, then I had to ask, what is the commissioner doing in terms of this infrastructure?
Did they tell you that I've been there?
Oh, yes, they did. They told me you've been there
with my team.
With your team. And I said, okay, if we do have the opportunity, I will get to ask you. So now that it's here, we're going to discuss about that. Is the state government supposed to be responsible for such renovations, or is the NSEC that is supposed to be solemnly responsible for such infrastructural buildings?
Okay, thank you. First off, NSEC is new. It hasn't really kicked off. So it's already working in Kogi State at Science Secondary School, Koton-Karfi. Yes, it's doing massive work. A project of over ₦1 billion is going down at Koto, Kogi local government. Now, for Science Secondary School Zone 8, is the responsibility of the state government. It's our responsibility, and that is why I visited. And we're actually working on our books to ensure that we take care of that school. I got there and I actually felt very bad. You know, let me shock you. When we were going to start the model science secondary schools, have you been to Adankolo?
Yes, I have.
That school in Adankolo was programmed for Science School Zone 8.
Oh.
Yeah. But when we got to Zone 8, they did not have the land requirement
to build such structure.
Exactly. The school is too massive. What we're proposing is too massive for the space that was available. So that was why we had to look for bigger land elsewhere. For us to have contemplated taking that school to science school should suggest to you that we have that school covered.
We're in the flooding era.
Yeah.
What are plans in order to help schools that are being affected by flood, if any, has happened?
Thank you. Traditionally, from previous experiences, because this is not the first time that we are having flood.
No.
Schools, and the one of 2022, that was very bad.
Very.
No school was flooded. But the challenge is that, apart from Ibaji, which, Ibaji local government, that we could not even enter the day we attempted.
No,
so what happened is, when homes are flooded, people are dislocated. They have to move out of their homes. The next place they move to are school premises. So meaning that even though this school is not flooded, students are denied access to their schools because people have taken over their schools.
So how do you intend, that's where my question comes in, because the students have to stay away until the flood is over, or how do you intend to still make sure they are still in school, even while their schools are being used as habitats?
Yes. There's a program that we did in 2022.
Okay.
Now, what we did then was to say, for schools that are not, now when the school is not, like I was trying to paint a background. When your school has been taken over by internally displaced people on account of flood, we try to see the nearest schools that have not been taken over, where we can move those children to, For instance, there's a school here in Lokoja. Is this in Luke? I think it's in Luke, around Dankolo.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
The school is big. And the way Subeb does their school is that there will be school 1, school 2, school. So what we try to do there is, we can say, school 1, we give it out to take care of the internally displaced people. Then school 2 and 3 will then converge everybody into school 2 and 3, just to make sure that learning does not stop. It will definitely be obstructed. There is nothing we can do about that. But what we now did is to say, after the flooding, we now create space for students not to miss what ordinarily
they should have been taught.
Exactly. During COVID, we had similar experience when schools were closed down. Yeah. So when schools reopened, what we did was we did not. There are some states that cancelled terms.
Yes, because of that.
We didn't do that in Kogi. What we did was to say, we extended, because we took the period of their stay at home to mean they were on holidays.
Okay.
So we now say, no more holidays. You can just go for 1 week and come back.
Okay.
And then we're not closing at the regular 2 o'clock.
You had to extend the time.
Exactly. So that was so we have a way of doing it. We've done it before, and we're going to do it again.
Okay, that's good. Has the payment of...
Let me also tell you that when I went for a program in Nasarawa State, after COVID, after schools returned. No, shortly before schools were going to return, they invited us to a program, the UNICEF and the Federal Ministry of Education. And they now asked all states to tell them what we are doing or what we have done and what our plans are. And I spoke. When I spoke about how we have, there was a name I gave it then, rearrangement of school calendar. My dear, that was the first point that was a major takeaway from that conference. And every state was advised to copy what Kogi did. All the way in Nasarawa State.
That would be a very good initiative.
So we are going to definitely, I'm not bothered.
Okay.
We are going to work on it because you cannot even plan until you know the extent this thing is going to. Because if you plan with this school and the flood gets there, or this flood does not get there, but families now relocate to those schools, you cannot do anything. You can't be living. You cannot have people live in school where you are giving learning. It's difficult.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. The bursary payment to students in Kogi State, has it commenced?
It should commence in another week or two. What happened is we had like 40,000, either 30,000 or 40,000 people that applied.
Wow.
Yes. Now, we need to check that those people that applied are actually students, not ghosts, not people who left school 3-4 years ago, like we discovered.
Okay.
So we need to do some validation.
Okay.
So as I speak with you, we'll have validated. Our plan is the moment we validate up to 10,000, we start paying them.
Okay.
Yes, I believe we'll have validated. As at last count, I think we validated about 8,000 or something. So when we validate the first 10,000, we begin payment. Okay. So I will continue to validate the other ones.
Okay, I think that will help.
Because people are really smart, you know. People,
I don't know why people seem to just want to take advantage of.
Exactly.
I mean, this is something that should really go to the list to people who really need it.
Exactly.
But I hope the validation thing works for you, which is very good.
Yeah.
How are you managing to regulate education, especially the proliferation of private schools in the States? Because I wanted to talk about that as well.
Thank you very much. That proliferation of private schools in Kogi State, let me talk about Kogi. I know it happens in other states, but let me restrict myself to Kogi. Is a hard-headed challenge that we've been struggling to cope with. As I speak with you right now, if you get to the Ministry of Education, you see schools, private schools, coming to validate their licenses. Yeah. Now, in the year 2020, we enacted the Kogi State Education Law, which properly regulates the operation of schools in Kogi State, especially the private schools. Before the law came into force, you could do anything. You could even start a school in this small room that we are in.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to
ask you.
Yeah, no, you cannot. Nobody can ask you any question because there was no law. But since coming into force of that law, the moment you do anything criminal, the moment you do anything that is not in conformity with the law, you are already breaching the laws of the land. And you are subject to prosecution. And the school owners are aware. Now, what we are left with now is to commence enforcement.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we are. Because laws are everywhere. It's just that when there's a law and you don't make effort or you don't put measures in place to enforce the laws that you have made,
it's as good as it's invalid.
There's no law.
Exactly.
Now, so what we are about starting, we are starting from having very robust inspectorate teams across the 21 local governments of the state. And we are not just going to be doing it with staff of Ministry of Education alone. We are involving all manner of stakeholders across all strata of people who have one thing or the other to do with education in Kogi State. Yes, we have started that. I had some very good discussion with the governor yesterday on it, and we are going to do the inauguration very soon.
Wow.
It will involve us giving vehicles to all of the people that will be involved. Local government by local government. So it's a serious business. In the other place when I was speaking, I asked them, I pointed their attention to something. In those days, I don't know how old you are, I don't know whether you went to school, when inspectors used to come to school. Oh, okay. No. If you went to a private school, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
No, I went to a private school.
You are the favored.
No, but I did go to science school.
You are the favored. Now, for those of us that went to public school from beginning to end,
I didn't do that.
When we were in secondary school, we usually received visitors from the inspectorate division of the Ministry of Education, then in Kano. They will come and sit with us in class and listen to the teachers teach us, so that they can correct them. And the fact that the inspectors are coming, it was another level of seriousness.
Yes,
the teachers, everybody. Exactly. So we are bringing that back. So many of us who are 50 years and above witnessed what I'm telling you. And those of us that went to public schools, we witnessed it. So we are bringing it back. Because that is the only way that this huge investment that the Kogi State government is doing in education can be truly reaped.
Yes, it has to be
if you put so much money somewhere, people will just misuse your money for you. So we need to now use some other small money to check the monies that we are spending.
Yes.
So with that, we are going to be checking private schools, we are going to be checking public schools.
You seem to have a lot to do in the Ministry of Education. I wish you all the best. But before I let you go,
yes, ma'am.
Where are you in the implementation of the 10-year education sector plan?
Yeah, thank you. The Kogi State Education Sector Plan started in the year 2021.
Okay.
2021 to 2030. Yeah. Because education is huge. The system is about the largest.
Wow.
And you have direct interface with the people of the state, with indigents, at what level they operate. Is that they are in school, or their children are in school, or their grandchildren are in school, or they are sponsoring somebody in school at different levels. So if you have such, and it requires a lot of funding, the first thing we did was we sat down and said, let us plan and plan well. That was what brought up the idea of the 10-year education sector plan. And upon conclusion of the plan, we realized that we were not funding education optimally, that the funding we were giving to education was abysmally low. So we had to do something. The then governor, His Excellency Alhaji Abelo, then moved education, the allocation to education, to 20%. 20% from the whatever it was before I came. So after the 20% allocation, the governor invited me and wanted, because he was impressed with what we were able to do with 20%, because 20% is also huge. And when I told him the gap we still had, he jacked it up to 30%.
Wow.
30% is higher than the acknowledged or recommended benchmark of 26% by UNESCO. So Kogi has been funding education higher than what UNESCO recommends. You know, so which is the reason why we have been able to start 2 additional universities within 4 years. We are able to start all the schools that we are talking about, the model schools.
Within that same space.
So, and we're able to recruit teachers. Our universities all have all their programs approved by NUC. There's no program that is run by any of our universities that is not approved by NUC. MBT, that's National Board of Technical Education, Kaduna, also approved all the programs of Kogi State Polytechnic. The National Council for Colleges of Education approved all the programs of our 2 colleges of education, the one in Kaba and the one in Akpa. As a matter of fact, after doing the accreditation for our courses in Kaba, a course we did not apply for, a program we did not apply for, NCCE, that's National Council for Colleges of Education, asked our College of Education in Kaba to commence that program because of what they saw.
Wow.
So we are spending a lot of money because we already have planned for it. Yeah.
So the 10-year plan seemed to be going well.
Yes, it's going well. But it's even going to be, we may renew it. We are reviewing because the state is also working a 32-year development plan. Yeah, which the Minister of Finance is anchoring. So I believe that when we are done with it, I will take a look at it and then see if we also need to rejig our 10-year plan.
That's very good.
Because planning is a continuous thing.
Oh, of course, doesn't it? And of course, governance in itself is a continual process.
Exactly.
In terms of teachers' deployment and employment, what are you doing as regards to that?
Thank you. In, I think, 2 years ago, we did a gap analysis for teachers. And we came with this huge figure that we needed to recruit. 3,979 teachers were required. And the then governor approved it. He approved that we recruit 3,979 using best practices. That was why the process of recruitment had minimal human interaction. Minimal human interaction.
So there are no favors.
Yes, no, but I made sure that even if you were my blood brother, if you did not score 40 in the CBT, you could not, you can't progress.
Don't bother.
Because we went to the Polytechnic, Kogi State Polytechnic, did CBT, and the pass mark is 40. I think about 17,000 applied. We did CBT test, and in hours, the results were ready. And we invited people that scored 40 and above, and we physically interviewed them. All of them that scored 40 and above. It wasn't just about, oh, this one has passed 40, and we're just going to take you to a school. So we took 40 of them. We took people that scored 40, we set panels. We did the interview at Model School at Dankolo.
Okay.
And we got more than the 3009. So we took the best of the 3009.
Okay.
But we have them in our records. But the first approval we had was for us to bring in 1,585. Yes, 1,585. Now, this is where the problem is. The number of mathematics teachers, physics teachers, and chemistry teachers we were supposed to take, we didn't have up to that number.
Because they are low.
Exactly. We didn't have up to that number. But we did not replace those ones with people who studied other things.
Okay.
So we had that gap that we needed to fill.
Okay.
So we're in the process of filling the gap, of filling the gap of about 400 that we still have. We're filling it. Then we move on to take more. So within the next 6 months, we'll have brought in another 1,000. I'm very comfortable.
Well, let me take this one, and I have to be very fast on it. The school loans and bursary and everything.
Yes.
Do you have to be a Kogi indigent to benefit from the state government's issue as regards to education?
That's the bursary.
Yes, the bursary.
Yeah, you have to be a Kogi indigent.
Okay, you have to be a Kogi indigent.
You have to be a Kogi indigent.
Well, I think if I keep you here, we're going to talk about education all day long. But thank you so much for being in the studio.
Thank you.
And I wish you very well in your endeavors and your efforts in trying to make Kogi better in terms of education.
Thank you very much.
Well, this is it on Talk Time. I am Deborah Bonika. Until next time, do have a good day.